Hi guys, okay, here's the makeup that came in your kit. You should have 8 items, and I also have added a couple of other things that you may want to add to your kit, like Q-tips, makeup wipes, little wedgies, a couple of brushes, some concealer, these 2 little compacts, that's just foundation and powder, so whatever you like to use on your face, and then a brush to apply it with, and then on the end I have an eyebrow brush. It's just a little tiny angled brush or eyebrow gel, and you can choose what you want to use, what you prefer. Here's Lily Keith. She's my model today. I've done half of her face so that you could see what it's going to look like, and then I'm going to go through the other half with you step by step so that you know exactly what we are doing. We're starting out with concealer, so whatever concealer you have at your house is great. And basically, I'm not really using this as concealer. I'm using this as an eye primer. So we're gonna start out by just dabbing a little bit on your finger. And girls, you should be able to do this yourself as well. And just get that concealer all over the eye. Now, one thing that I wanna point out is I'm doing eye makeup before I do face makeup. This is really important with a smoky eye because we don't want any fallout on your face. So you're gonna be doing your eye makeup very first and then your foundation after. So make sure you do it in that order. Otherwise, you're gonna have a lot of black fallout on your face and it's hard to get off. Next, we're gonna take the little blending brush that came in your kit. We're gonna go up to this very lightest color. I believe this is number 1. It's just a base color. And basically what you're gonna do is just put this all over your eyelid, all over the top of that concealer. And it's just kind of almost white. And really what it's just gonna do is it's going to set the concealer so that nothing melts or gets all yucky throughout the day. Next, you're gonna grab a little Q-tip, and you're gonna be using a lot of these, so I would have a lot on hand. You're gonna go into this kind of highlight color. It's number 11. If you look on the bottom of the pan, it'll tell the numbering of all the colors. You're just gonna take your Q-tip and you're going to apply just a small kind of strip just below the brow bone. Then you're going to take your blending brush, the same one, and you're going to get this kind of, I don't know, it's kind of a taupey color, purpley taupe. It's number 8. And this is going to go in your crease. And everyone's eye is different. So if you close your eye, you can kind of feel where your eyelid is. This is going to go right above your eyelid, right in that crease. And I'm just taking little circular motions. You don't need a ton of product. You just kind of dip it in, kind of tap it off, and then just start rolling it into that crease. And we're gonna just start building up that crease. And this is gonna be sort of like the base for the smoky eye. Now we're gonna take an even darker crease color. So we're going up to this kind of purpley color. It's not the dark purple, it's kind of the medium purple. It's number 6. And we're just gonna go right over that other color. And I know that seems kind of funny, but when you do a smoky eye, you have to kind of build it up. If we were just to put black straight up on your eye, it would look really funny and harsh. So it's all about kind of blending it in and building it up. And it may seem like it's going to take a little bit of extra time, but honestly, this is so fast. You just get to the point where you can almost do this in your sleep. So just build it up with this next color, number 6, just to kind of darken it just a little bit. Now we're going to take the dual-ended eyeliner, and you're going to take the gel side. This is the side, it's not the felt tip, it's the gel side. And my hand's in the way, I'm sorry about this. Hopefully I will move it in a minute. But you're basically going to just apply this to the lid of your eye. And it doesn't have to be, it can be super messy, it doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to blend it in. Basically, this is just going to allow the black to adhere to your eyelid, and it'll just keep it on all day. So it's kind of like insurance for your eye. And then you don't have to put so much eyeshadow on. So see how I'm just kind of filling in that bottom area? Don't get even close to that crease line. Keep it a little bit lower because we're going to blend it out. So I'm just going to take a Q-tip, a clean one, and just start kind of rubbing that in. And honestly, you can do this super fast. You don't need to be neat about it. It's just a really quick way to get that black to stay and adhere. I love using Q-tips because then you're not wasting a bunch of brushes. This is a cheap, easy way to get the job done, and it works well. Now we're going to take another Q-tip and we're going to dip it into this dark purple. And the reason I'm using a Q-tip instead of the blending brush is I don't want to get the blending brush super dirty. I want to keep that kind of clean. And I even like to take a paper towel and do like circular motions on the paper towel between applications so that the blending brush doesn't get too mucky. So I'm going to apply that purple all over the top of that black that I just put on. And I like to just tap it in, almost like you're just like pushing color into the skin. So you don't need to smear it, you just kind of like lightly tap that in. And then you can take the blending brush and you can kind of blend that in. Again, little circular motions, just kind of blending it in. And then I'll take that blending brush after and just kind of wipe it on a paper towel to get the excess color off so that I can still use it for other things. Just getting that purple all blended in. It's hard to tell that it's purple from the lighting in the video, but it looks really cool. Now I'm going to take the other side of that purple Q-tip and I'm going to apply the black, the blackest black. And we're just going to do the same thing we did with the purple, just kind of pat it in. And again, you don't have to go all the way up to the crease line with this because we have kind of that layered look. So kind of keep it toward the bottom of the eyelid and just pat it in there. And then we'll take that blending brush again and just little circular motions, blend it out. Okay, that's it for the eyeshadow. Now we're gonna take a makeup wipe, baby wipe, whatever you have, and what I like to do is I kind of like to wrap it around my finger. That makes it really easy to kind of wipe everything off. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take it from the inside of her eye, kind of get that clean, and then I'm gonna drag it out. So you can see I'm kind of making like a distinct line. So instead of having to take that felt tip marker and make that kind of cat eye, we're gonna do it the simple way and do it with a wipey and just get that all cleaned off. You can see all the fallout from the black eyeshadow. This is why we wanna do the foundation last, because as you can imagine, having to wipe all that down with foundation on would kind of ruin everything. Okay, now I'm just gonna do a really quick foundation application. However you do this at your house is great. Some girls don't even like foundation, they just apply powder. Whatever works for you, whatever you like to do. I've noticed that if I apply foundation, it tends to last longer. And if I just do powder, it tends to kind of like almost melt into the skin halfway through the day. So I really like applying a foundation, and this is just a light foundation that I'm applying with a wedgie. Now I'm just gonna dust a little bit of powder over the top of that. And I don't like to use a lot. I don't want it to look cakey. I just want it basically just covers the foundation and locks it in. So just a light sprinkling of powder over the top. Now we're gonna do eyebrows. As you can see, this is just a little angled brush. In your kit, you have those two bottom bars are eyebrow color. So if you'd like to use them, then that's great. Now be careful because the darker color is really, really dark. So depending on your skin tone and your hair coloring, be really careful. So on Lily, I used the very lightest color, and all I'm doing is just giving her a little bit of color. So I've noticed on stage, some of the girls that have super light eyebrows, they kind of get washed out, and your eyebrow is there to frame your face. So we want to make sure that you can see those eyebrows. And now I wouldn't wear this to school on an everyday occasion, but for a dance competition, this is what you want to do. So I'm just lightly filling in her eyebrows. She has awesome brows. Another way to fill in your brows is with a brow gel, and that's great too. That's what I do with Bryn. I just fill it in with some brow gel and I'm done. So I'm taking this little bit of darker color, and you definitely don't need to do this. I'm just doing a little extra for fun. But I like to darken that tail just slightly. So it should always go from very lightest, inner corner is the lightest, and then fan out to the darkest on the tip. So I'm just doing this for fun today, but typically you wouldn't need to go to all this trouble. Just throw on some brow gel and you're good to go. Okay, now I'm just gonna take a Q-tip. So if you get a little crazy with your brow color, the best thing to do is just to take a Q-tip and kind of wipe away a little bit of that color. So I'm just gonna go through and just kind of show you quickly how to wipe it through. And then this is brow gel. So you don't have to use both, but this does kind of set the brows so that they don't move. So on her, just to show you what I'm doing, this is all I use on Bryn. I don't use the darker color underneath. So I just kind of fan those brows, and there are little fibers on that brush, and they will just adhere to all those little tiny baby hairs and kind of color them. If you're looking for a good brow gel, NYX has a really good one, and it's super cheap. Now we're going to take that dual tip liner again, and using the same side that we used for the eyelids, we're going to do the waterline. And this kind of freaks some people out. You'll get used to it. This is probably my least favorite thing to do with makeup, but it makes such a big difference. So I'm basically pulling down her bottom lid, and there's like a little ribbon where it's called your waterline, and it's right next to your eyeball. And what I'm doing is I'm just coloring in that waterline. It's right above your eyelashes. And I'm going all the way across, and then on that outside edge, I'm kind of like dotting it into her lashes. So don't dot it in her lashes all the way across, just kind of to the middle. But then in the waterline, as you can see, it goes all the way from corner to corner. Then I'm going to take a little Q-tip, and I'm going to go into that kind of medium purple color that we used. It's the darker crease color, which is number, I want to say 8. And then fan that across the bottom lid, all the way across from corner to corner. And this is what kind of gives it that smoky look. And you don't have to be perfect with it, just kind of get it in there. And then we're going to take the very darkest purple and kind of go over the top of it. And it's kind of nice to do it with a Q-tip because it really kind of smokes it out and does most of the work for you. And then I'm going to take the clean side and kind of just clean it up just a little bit and smoke it out even a little bit more. Okay, here are your eyelashes. You get 2 in a kit. You should be able to make these last. If you take good care of them and you take them off after every competition and put them back on the little plate, you really should be able to make the 2 pair that you get in your kit last. So I'm putting a bunch of glue on the eyelashes. Now this is the trick, and a lot of you know this, but you should give it like, I don't know, count to 60 and kind of blow on them. You don't want the glue to be sticky, you want it to be tacky. So it shouldn't be wet. If you apply a bunch on there, you should wait like 60 seconds and then apply it. And it should just be kind of tacky. And I like to just put the middle on first and then corner to corner. And if it's just tacky enough, it'll just stick right on and you won't have to work at all to get them on. If the glue is too wet, you're gonna struggle and you're gonna have glue everywhere and it's a big pain. So just give it 60 seconds, make sure it's tacky, and then stick it on. Just like that. Now we're going to take the other side of the dual liner, the felt side, and basically all you're going to do is just run a line across the lash line. And that way it just kind of completes the look. We aren't gonna do big funky cat eyes, just kind of run it to the very end, corner to corner. And see how I'm kind of tapping it in? I'm not even really running a line. I'm just kind of tapping an edge in so that it just kind of cleans everything up. You don't need to get crazy with this. And like I said, we're not doing a cat eye. So just take it to the edge of the eyelashes, and that's all you have to do. Now onto my favorite part. Okay, so I have this angle brush and I'm going to dip it into the contour. And we have two contour colors. I'm kind of tapping into the lighter one and then one tap of the dark one. So mostly light and just a little bit of dark. I'm gonna have her suck in her cheeks and you can see where her jaw bone starts. And I'm just gonna run the contour on the jawbone and then kind of brush it up. So I don't wanna go below that line that I just created. I'm not doing, this isn't blush, this is a contour. So I wanna see like a really nice jawbone line. So I'm just running it down and then just, like I said, brushing it up and kind of curving it around her eye and just creating almost like a C. More of the light and one tap of dark. Now I'm gonna go above her, well, top of her forehead. This is gonna frame the face. And it may look a little funky, you know, close up, but on stage, this is going to create like the perfect oval face shape. And then I'm gonna go under her chin. I'm just creating like that perfect kind of doll face look, and around her jaw down below. So you're just kind of creating sort of like this perfect oval shape. And now we're going to take our blending brush again and just tap it in the lighter contour, kind of flick it off, and then you can kind of see where I've put it underneath her lip. I know this seems really weird, but this will kind of make the lips really stand out. So we're just going to put a little bit of that contour under the lip, and it kind of goes onto the lip. And then when we put our lipstick on, you won't see that. It'll just kind of contour your lip. And I'm just dusting away just a little bit. If you get too much, just take a little wedge or whatever, kind of dust a little bit away, but you can see how it's darker under there. Now we're going to take the setting spray, and this part is really important because you're going to get sweaty throughout the day and it's easy for the makeup to start melting. So this just secures the makeup onto your face so that nothing melts off throughout the day. So don't forget to do this step. And then I'm having Lily just kind of fan her face because you want that to be dry before you put the highlight on. So she's fanning, and then she says, yeah, it's good, I'm dry. Only takes 5 seconds. And now take your blending brush again and just take a paper towel and kind of swirl it around the paper towel. Because we're doing the highlight with the same brush, you want to make sure that there's not that black kind of gunky stuff on there. We want that completely off. So now we're going to take this like bronzy highlight, it's the darker one, and we're going to create that contour. You can see where we put the contour. Now we're going to create highlights above it. So I'm just taking that highlight and I'm brushing it kind of over the contour but above it, almost like in a line, like they're stacked on each other. And I'm just kind of curving it around her eye, focusing on right above the cheekbone. And that's really going to pop it out and also create sort of like dimension in the face. And because we're not doing blush, we really want to make sure that the cheekbones are carved out, that you can really see facial features. And then I'm going to take that same angle brush and I'm going to blend them both kind of in together, just so there's not, you don't want a harsh line. It takes 2 seconds. Now we're going to take the lighter of the two highlights and I'm just going to put a bunch on my finger, and we're going to just do a little dot on the top of the nose and then run it up the middle of the nose. And again, this just gives kind of, it carves out the face, it gives definition, and facial features show up more on stage. And take a little bit more of that, and I'm going to apply it to her Cupid's bow. So top of the lip, and sort of you can see where that Cupid's bow is, and then I just kind of run it down the sides of the top of the lip. So easy to use your finger on this part. And then I'm going to take a little Q-tip, same highlight, kind of dip it in there, and then we're going to do this in the inner corners of the eyes. You have kind of like a little socket in the inner corner, and you're just going to brush that all along that inner corner. And I know it seems kind of like a dumb thing for all these little extra things, but they make a big difference on stage. And I promise it's going to look really, really amazing. Okay, we're almost finished. Now we're going to apply the lip liner. And I like to start in the middle and do kind of like that little Cupid's bow area. Get it in just kind of like a perfect little shape to begin with. And then I feel like everything else is pretty easy from there. I just like to do that middle part first because that seems to be the hardest area to get right. So I like to do that very first and get that really nice shape and then just kind of fan it out from there. It's just, for me, it's easier to start in the middle and work my way out. All we're doing is kind of lining the lip. And then I do like to kind of fan it through. That way the lipstick just stays on all day. This color is so pretty. It's such a great color. In fact, all of this makeup is so great, and you'll want to use it for years. In fact, I've been using it every day, and my girls keep saying, "What makeup are you using today, Mom? What highlighter are you using?" And it's all in this kit. So you'll use it and use it and use it until it's gone. It's awesome. But don't use it on yourself until competition season's over. I guess I should say that. So I'm just kind of fanning that in, because you don't want to have just a line of lip liner. You want it to be precise and then kind of color in a little bit of the lip. You don't have to do it all, but just sort of color it in so it's not a distinct line. Okay, here's the last part. This is the liquid lipstick, and I noticed that it's a little bit clumpy, so just kind of dab it off on the edge, on the tip, so that you don't get those clumps on your lips. You can even mix it in the bottle a little bit with the wand before you apply. And then again, I just like to start in that middle section and kind of make sure I get that line. And then from there, basically, you're just filling in that middle part and then just kind of brushing it outward. This part is pretty easy. This lipstick should last all day. You may have to reapply depending on what you're eating, but it should pretty much last all day. It's a matte lipstick, and with the lip liner underneath, it should last. So I'm just gonna make sure I've got that on everywhere, and then basically just kind of pat your lips together and should be good to go. And that's it. So after the lipstick application, you're pretty much finished. Just make sure that the lipstick is all the way dry. And then we're gonna start the mascara, and this is the last thing. And you don't really need that much mascara. It is waterproof. I don't wanna ruin the false lashes. So basically what you're doing is you're just melding the two together, your lashes with the false lashes. And this should be the last thing that you do. And I'm lightly coating the lashes. You don't really need to do this, but it does look a little bit better if you kind of meld those two together. So I'm just lightly doing that. That way you're not ruining the false lashes. If you were to just really coat those, then they would be ruined really fast. And then I just let that dry on the top, and then I'm just lightly going in and dusting the bottom ones. And again, you don't need a whole lot. It's waterproof, so it's not going to smear, which is nice, but go in and give the bottom just a nice little coat of mascara. And that's that. So that is it for this makeup tutorial, and I hope this isn't going to be too hard. It's going to look amazing on stage. Super classy, a little bit different from anything we've ever done. It's different from what other studios have done. Here are just a few pictures. If you have any questions or concerns, or you're not sure what to do here or there, feel free to give me a call anytime. I'm happy to help. I'm happy to answer questions. You can reach me through band. And yeah, hopefully it won't be too hard. And I'll be at all the dance competitions if you need help. Thanks for watching.